Darrel Rundus, I said, come down here, because I like Darrel. I like his attitude, his whole world view. He's a good guy. But I wanted to get him down here a few weeks ago because he tries to hand out on public sidewalks in Dallas religious Christian tracts. And even if you hate Christians, I'm a Christian. I like real Christians. I know it's real Christians that ended slavery, real Christians that fight tyranny, real Christians that are really out there on the front lines. I see their fruits. And I'm a Christian, brought up a Christian, a Baptist. But even if you're a Buddhist or an atheist or whatever you are, you should support their free speech. And I've noticed that governments support the free speech of every other group but Christians. And they particularly, I've got video in my film, Martial Law, that YouTube banned, saying it was too intense. That video is banned, or you have to put in that you're 18 and log in to see it. But it's banned from the main YouTube site, where they take Christians sitting on sidewalks and break their arms, and the federal judge said, we're allowed to torture in America. It's paying compliance. So forget Abu Ghraib, forget Camp X-Ray in Guantanamo. I've always seen a special persecution of Christians. Now, the judge has ruled you don't have free speech, and they're ruling all over the country. Travis County right now, it was in the paper, is saying you can't wear political T-shirts saying any message in the county commissioner's court. Free speech is being lost. George Bush tried to have free speech zones and so much more. Thousands of lawsuits. When I say thousands, they lost over 1,000 in New York over the RNC, where I saw mainline reporters being arrested for no reason. There is an attack on free speech. And Dallas, of all places, is this Christianoid, a lot of good people, a lot of my family, I'm from there. But there is this fake Christianoid atmosphere in Dallas. And there's been a horrible court ruling. He's going to appeal it. And we're going to talk about the climate situation. We're going to talk about the police state. We're going to talk about, Darrel's a successful stock trader and gold trader and silver trader and commodities guy, and, sold a huge marketing business he had. So I want to get his take on gold, the dollar, where we're going, all of this. But I wanted to have Darrel Rundus first break down this important case in Dallas, which is happening at the state level all over the country, and all these new taxes. Government is just out of control. Darrel, good to have you.
Hey, it's great to be here, Alex. Thanks for having me.
And it's great to meet your wife in person.
Hey, she's definitely the better looking of the two. So that's
You're good looking.
Yeah, but she's way better looking than me. No two ways about it. If she wasn't so shy, we'd get her here on camera. That would be a lot of fun.
She's very sweet.
She is. She's definitely the best thing.
She looks great for just having surgery a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, she's doing good. They do that lithoscopic kind of thing now, so they don't even slice you open for an appendectomy. So got her. She recovered quickly, and we thank God for that. But I got to tell you something. What we're not recovering from in this country is the tyranny. It's just getting crazy out there. Between this climate bill, right? You got tax and trade. I don't forget cap and trade. It's tax and trade. It's about control. It's about command. We have every branch of our government, including the free speech and the free press, that fourth leg of government, completely saturated with people that have nothing to do with our best interest.
They hate freedom.
They hate freedom. They hate liberty. They hate justice. I can get no justice in the courts. The common man certainly can. If you have no money, you have no justice in this country. That's.
Yeah, you have money and still couldn't get justice.
It doesn't even matter. And speaking of money, not only did we lose the case against the state fair, where they were clearly threatening us with arrest on public property. You can check out the YouTube video. It's as clear as day. But then the judge awards unprecedented court costs in the amount of $29,000. Get that. $29,000 for copies of documents that we didn't even ask for. But they ran up a huge bill in hopes they'd win so that then they could chill future free speech cases.
So now in America, you were arrested, you were violated, you fought it, you pay. That's the British system. We didn't have that system here, and they're just doing it with a judge's order. I believe he needs to have a judicial complaint filed on him.
Well, we're doing everything we can, not only in the appeal, but to get out there in the press, just like coming on your show today, to tell people, look, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. It can happen to everyone.
Well, let's go back. Let's tell the story of what happened, because I've even seen it in the news. They're persecuting Christians all over Dallas. You're not in America. You can't go out and share the word with someone.
Look, I got a recorded conversation from the the assistant to the chief of police prior to going out there, saying that it's clearly public property. We had every right to be out there to exercise our First Amendment right. Keep in mind, when you're proselytizing religion, you're not just exercising your right to free speech. but also the freedom of the
That is the most protected. In the First Amendment, it's doubly, the only thing doubly mentioned.
Well, technically, it's triply protected because it's good news. So it's really an issue of speech and the press and the freedom of worship and religion. And so when you exercise that right to free speech and to go out and do what Christ called all Christians to do.
And that's what, what's the passage in the Bible where Paul says, you know, they had a godliness about them, but not the power.
2 Timothy 4.
I mean, because if you really are tied into the almighty creator who wants justice, you can't control yourself. You've got to go out and fight evil.
Absolutely.
I mean, so these people really aren't Christians. If you're not literally burning, like Ezekiel said, in your bones, like, God, they're going to kill me if I don't shut up, but I can't shut up.
That's why you do what you do, Alex. You've been called to be a watchman on the wall, to warn, to sound the trumpet call to all the people of the city. Hey, tyranny's coming. Evil's coming. They're coming to take our city. They're going to take your kids. They're going to take your wealth. They're going to take everything.
Same stuff that happened 2,000-3,000 years ago is what's happening now.
Absolutely.
Evil doesn't change.
No, evil is evil, and it's permeating not just this country, but the entire world. And Christians in particular ought to do what I do and what you do, and other Christians that really...
Well, I want you to tell that story, but you're such a great Bible scholar and have such a strong spirit of the Lord in you. Explain to people what that means, because that really hit me last night. I heard a preacher on the radio locally. He has a jurisdictionary, I think is the name of the show. But he was talking about they have a kind of godliness, but they don't have the power. And I mean, if you don't have the power, you're not really tied into God.
Well, he's talking, and you're referring to 2 Timothy 4, which is a scripture reference written over 2,000 years ago about the last days, that it'd be terrible times for Christian servants, that because people would be lovers of themselves, which is obvious. In fact, all the way down here, the reason I almost didn't get here on time today is because people will drive in the fast lane 45 miles an hour and they care nothing about who's behind them or who's
worse. They do it on purpose, enjoying impeding you.
That's it, because it's my road. It's about me. Don't pass me. What are you going to do for me? How are you going to benefit me? Hey, that's enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me? Right? That's everybody's attitude. It's all about them. And 2 Timothy 4 alludes to that very thing. Lovers of themselves, lovers of money, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power within. In other words, they have this outward appearance. They might wear a cross or a Christian T-shirt, or they might have
and act real nice.
Oh, they might act nice, but then as soon as they get out of church on Sunday, they're flipping people off and honking the horn and screaming at people and yelling at their kids. There's no outward evidence of an inward conversion. Jesus said you'll know them by their fruit. In fact, Alex, you'll really get into this. In the last days, in Matthew 24, when Jesus laid out all the warning signs, earthquakes, pestilence, famines, wars, rumors of wars, and so on, he started with one sign, repeated it 10 times. He didn't repeat any other warning sign, but this one. Do you know what it was?
No.
Be careful no one deceive you.
Because
great deception will come, that people will be wolves in sheep's clothing, false teachers, false leaders, false witnesses, and so on, over and over again. That's what we see. This big news you just broke, what was it, yesterday or day before, about the climate change scam and fraud, and them admitting behind the scenes that they're fudging the numbers and changing things in order to perpetuate this agenda on the people.
Yeah, we started covering that over the weekend. It broke last week.
Well, it shouldn't surprise any of us. I mean, every time you pull back one more layer of the bureaucracy within this country, you see corruption.
So but I can't believe how bad it is. It boggles my mind they're this corrupt and they found this many evil people to serve them.
Well, man, I tell you this much. Once again, every aspect of our society has been captured by capitalists, that not the good kind of capitalists who want to empower people to go farther and do more and accomplish more.
The pirates.
Many things. But yeah, pirates and plunderers, people that just come in, they come to kill, steal, and destroy, which is exactly what the Bible said the devil does. So these people don't worship God. No, they worship Satan. And I don't care what label.
Well, look at Sodom and Gomorrah. The CPS comes and wants his kids.
You know, it's once again, everywhere we turn. Come on, Alex, well, we'll get back after the break, but I'll only just come back with this one thought. Every aspect of our lives, we're entangled into a system of tyranny, of injustice, and a lack of liberty.
Yeah, and I've been interrupting with that, but tell us the story of what happened. Absolutely. In Dallas, you cannot stand on a street corner and hand out tracts.
Not unless you want to risk paying $29,000 in court costs.
Because it's land of the free, home of the brave. How did this ever happen to our nation? We'll be right back with